I'm gonna adjust my camera. Nobody saw that.
Yeah,
Hey,
so glad
everybody.
we're live.
Welcome to Game Audio, hour number 96. This is our weekly podcast. We discuss all things game audio, from creative ideas to latest techniques, project experiences to audio secrets. Here's where you'll find in-depth coverage and opinions related to game audio. Mike, did you say you saw me moving my camera, or was I sleight of hand with it?
No, I think it was pretty stable, though I am still transfixed by the symbol halo floating above your head.
You know, when I come in on a close view, the symbol's like in half, which is what I'm shooting for. And then when I look down in the corner, when it's like on somebody else's beautiful face, I can see the whole symbol hanging over my head. Are you guys getting the same thing? Like when
Yeah,
I
It
we,
see,
looks it looks heavenly.
I'm so picky about how this show looks. And why is it so dark in here? Because it's not that dark in here. But I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. So, Mike, you doing well?
I am doing well. Tonight I have a little bit of animal drama going on because, as you can see, if I shift my shoulder slightly, there are some roses in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the cats regards that as a buffet. So, as a result, the cat has to be locked out of the room for the duration of the flower's natural lifespan. And every time I look to my right, under the crack under the door, I see a little sad paw kind of reaching forward and, uh, trying to either touch my paw under the door, or in some kind of primitive cat burglary scheme, trying to, reach for the lock mechanism. It's a very sophisticated cat, so it could really go either way. But anyway, that's if I'm not wrapped with fascination on our current topic, it's because I'm keeping an eye on this attempted breaking and entering.
That's funny. Alex, how you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. I have a question for you, Carl.
Yes.
On your let me see. On your right side, on the right speaker behind you, there are some tiny little flashing red lights. What are they?
It's a to throw back to my programmer days. That is a binary clock.
Ah, it looks very kind of Star Trek Next Generation, where you just have like these random lights that are just blinking for really no reason other than just to look kind of whatever 26th century or whatever Star Trek is. I'm good.
That's a that's a more accurate description of what it is, because as you can tell, it's behind me, so I have no idea what time it is.
Hmm,
I don't turn
I'm
around to
good.
look at the time. You're good?
Yes, I am. I have a little bit of a little bit of a not a rant, but just a comment on the state of the industry that we work in.
Ooh, go for
It's
it.
not really a rant. It's just something I noticed. Okay, so recently, because I'm in the middle between a few projects, you know what happens when that happens. You kind of mind wanders off into the very dangerous gear land where you start sort of thinking, maybe this part of my setup is not ideal, or maybe I got this and maybe I need that. And so I started looking for different DAWs because I'm doing a lot of work with video these days, and Renoise doesn't work with video. So went through a few different options, and in the end arrived at Ableton Live, just like everybody else. The reason I came to that was just because it's, compared to the other options out there, like Renoise, it's the one DAW that feels kind of like a singular instrument in itself, that when you understand how to use it, you can sort of play the DAW itself, which is just like
Yeah.
tracker software when you get to a certain level with it. Anyway, as I bought a license secondhand, and now I'm just waiting for the transfer. And while I've been waiting for the transfer, I've been having a look over the Ableton site. And I got to say that their marketing is very, very clever. It sort of makes the whole live thing feel like this hyper trendy, the way to electronica liberation. Where you are joining a family of these trendy, creative, artistic people who
Yeah.
choose live over all the other options. And that got me thinking about marketing and how it affects our decisions. The two things that I wanted to talk about with regard to the tools that we use, there are two companies, which I'm not going to name, but you'll probably be able to guess which ones, but I'm not going to name them, that do things from a marketing point of view that, to me as a consumer, make me feel rather uncomfortable. One of these companies frequently holds incredibly savage sales on their products, very frequently. and the amount that they cut off the retail price and offer during their special periods is so much that you kind of wonder, what about the people who pay full price for these things? Because if it costs this much to actually purchase this, but the retail price is 4 times as expensive, you sort of start to wonder about the value of this thing and actually how much it actually costs to make. And therefore you start to wondering where they get that original retail price from. And from that, sort of, it doesn't really give me a good feeling somehow. I don't know. So that's the first thing I wanted to throw out to you guys. The second thing, before we go on to before I get your responses on that, the second thing is, there's a second company that I installed a plugin from last night, a demo, right? And you install a demo. Along with the demo comes all of these demos of this whole suite of products. There's no option when you're installing to just choose what you want. It all kind of like drops into your system. There's now a new executable in your applications directory which connects to some shop, and then you didn't want VST2 and VST3 and AAX formats, but you've got them all over your hard drive as well, and for every one of the demos of every one of the products, even though you just wanted to try one of them. So when you finish and then you started, and it's like you've got you start it up and there's getting all these reminders about this is a demo, and you have however many days to as a trial period, and then you realize all of a sudden that you've been somehow signed up for their newsletter at some stage or other when you signed up for an account or something, and it's just I don't know, these two practices in marketing for plugins, it makes me wonder what these companies feel about us consumers of the users of their products. A, what do we think about the value of their products when there are these savage sales all the time?
Yeah.
And B, when trying out a plugin becomes this massive kind of unwanted commitment to this company, even though you're just wanting to try something out. Now you've got their stuff all over your system, and you've been signed up for their newsletter. It kind of makes me wonder how these certain companies view consumers. So am I the only person who feels this way, or what do you guys think about these kinds of practices?
You first, Mike.
Well, on the first point, the alternation between regular pricing for a sample library and the sudden, as you say, savage discounts, which would be a great name for a Jack London novel, Savage Discounts. I would argue this benefits you. It benefits everybody, actually. And this is an economic principle known as price discrimination, which means charging different populations different prices for the same product. So, for example, let's say North-South Samples releases their hot new nose flute library. And in response to this, we can divide the consumer population into two groups. We've got like Brian Tyler, who just will buy everything that comes out, and he'll organize in his personal library, and when he feels like it, he'll go and see if every new sample library contains something he wants to use. He doesn't care about the difference between $700 and $350. He just gets it all. I don't know that Brian Tyler actually works this way, but there are people for whom completion is important, and they've got enough money that they don't care. So North-South Samples says, let's sell the higher price to those guys because they don't care. Then when we feel like everyone who is going to buy the $700 version of the nose flute has bought it, like 6 months later, then we'll drop the price and try to address everybody else. And then the savage discounts begin. And that's when Kyle and Alex and Mike say, I really want a nose flute for my next game score. Then we go check it out, and we have the feeling like we got a bargain, and that's a feeling everybody loves. So the question would be then, well, what's the alternative to this? And the alternative might be that everybody pays a price that's higher than the savage discount, but a bit lower than the full price that is the debut price. So that means that the Brian Tyler types, there'd be a slight discount for them and they wouldn't care, but the rest of us would end up paying a lot more. So the way to think of this is the early adopters, the people who really want this stuff or don't care about the price, end up subsidizing the purchase for the rest of us because they give North-South Samples a little bit more money, and therefore we, the rest of us, who are bargain hunters, give a little bit less. So I will argue that phenomenon number one is healthy and good, and we should cherish it. And the savvy consumers among us know that when a sample library is released, unless we're really dying to have it, it might not be a bad idea to hang out for 6 months or hang out till the next holiday because there may be a big discount.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
I think, Carl, what do you think?
I
It's
think
just
I
me.
ran off to find my nose flute.
Oh, did you find it?
No, I've had that thing for. I've probably had it for 10 years. That's probably.
You actually have a nose flute.
Yeah, it's green and it nuzzles under your nose and it's got this whistle, and you open your mouth and it creates all the different like wah effects as you're blowing air through it.
Do you have a Jew's harp as well?
Let's not get crazy. I would never have it. Those things hurt your teeth, man. Have you ever played one? It smacked your teeth.
I have.
Oh,
It's like having sensitive teeth and eating ice cream.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Or I didn't have sensitive teeth and I smacked them and now I do. Thank you. So, yeah, I do have a nose flute around here somewhere, and I can't find it. And I thought for sure I was going to come back. I even knew the coffee mug it was in. So as far as sales go, we all know it doesn't cost that much to make software. So I'm with Mike. You know, the people who buy it are doing well in their career. They've got money to blow on this kind of thing. They want the very latest and greatest at the same time to stay, or at the immediate time it comes out so that they can stay competitive. I'm not that guy. So I wait and wait and wait, and I watch for, you know, the company Tsunami.com who puts out all these plugins and then discounts them from 700 to 200 for one of them right now. I found out that there's like budgets. There's bundles, and here's what I'm meandering to. So there are bundles in there that I did pay. Not the highest price, but I came down at a time that it was on sale. And I was like, you know, I need to get that bundle if I want to stay competitive. And then, but I didn't go for the big bundle. I went for kind of the mid-level bundle. And then I started just picking off all the sales for all the things that I might need, right? And they keep sending me this email. If you, sir, spend $400, you can get the very biggest bundle of all the bundles. But since I've been picking off all these sales, I'm like, I don't really need to. I just need you to put about these 3 things on sale, and I'm good to go. I got your bundle for less than what you thought I would be dumb enough to pay. So that's what I did. Is I got a bundle that was not full price, not half price, somewhere in between, and then I've been going on that ever since and buying stuff. But yeah, I mean, the thing, I think I'm more bothered by expensive software that won't put itself on sale. There are some audio software manufacturers who will go unnamed that will not do a sale. And we all know from all the others that it costs them a fraction of that plus a sweatshop full of programmers to build that, and they are dedicated to ripping me off, and so I don't use their software.
That's that's interesting because I was just going to bring that up actually because there are a few vendors. I use one product very frequently from a vendor that never goes on sale, but their products are very, very expensive. Somehow, you know, I think I know for a fact that there's only like 1 or 2 people who actually, you know, behind this said company. Chase is saying, can some names get put in chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chase, we are a closed mouth community here. That's right.
How do you spell tsunami?
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think it might just be maybe it's just me. I somehow feel that with companies that don't go on sale, there's no pressure. Like when I'm evaluating whether or not I want to get this product, there's absolutely no pressure. I feel like I make a much more calm, rational, objective decision about whether I need this certain product when I know that that price is never ever going to change. Yeah, so I'll name one company there. One company is DMG Audio. DMG Audio do like Equilibrium, and they've just released a new limiter called Limitless. I say they, but actually DMG Audio is, I think, one person. And their products are very expensive. And I use their eQuick equalizer as the main EQ that I use, which is kind of like a competitor for FabFilter's Pro Q.
Yeah, I've never even heard of DMG Audio. Audio
Yeah.
tools crafted with love for money. I mean, of audio.
Yeah. They are the stuff that DMG Audio, especially Equilibrium, which is their EQ plugin, which is amazing, is
Yeah.
extremely expensive.
Oh,
Um, it's interesting to note, though. The um, uh,
wow.
FabFilter as well. Why we're naming companies,
Yeah.
FabFilter as well doesn't do sales on individual products. They have a sale on their bundle,
Hmm.
but their individual products are expensive, and they rarely go on sale. Somehow, I feel that basically what I'm saying is that when you say, okay, I need a new EQ, so let me have a look at these options. I'm
Hmm.
looking for an EQ, which means I want it now. I have the money, and I'm looking for it now. I don't
Right.
want to wait 6 months for some Black Friday sales that maybe get it half price off, because I need this now. So
Yeah.
here are my options. If I know that this company's going to sell it to me at this price, and everything indicates, and I've tried the demo, and everything indicates that it's going to be a good choice, I'd rather get it now than have this nagging feeling that, well, if I just held off on this until Christmas or until Black Friday or Easter or whatever, any one of the sort of regular sale periods, then maybe I can get it much cheaper. Um, yeah, maybe it's just me. Do you guys
Yeah.
get bothered by extremely kind of the marketing of companies that sort of overwhelms your system with a whole bunch of stuff, and you've got authentication applications, and you've got service center applications, and you've got shop applications and all this kind of stuff, or is that just me?
No, no, absolutely, man. Some of the installations are a nightmare, man. Do you remember the like 12 or 16 CDs you had to go through to get Complete installed from Native Instruments? Oh
Wow.
my God, it took hours. I would walk away. The reason it took so long was not because if you sat there and just did it in one step, it would take that long. It's that they had figured out what number will kill you, and you have to take breaks, and then you forget, and you've got a CD hanging out of your computer, and you come back 4 hours later and go, crap, I forgot to switch CDs. They had finely tuned how long somebody could not wait to get something. It used to drive me crazy.
And Alex, are you referring to kind of pain in the rear fixed cost of installation, stuff that's very slow and tedious, but you do once, or are you talking more about companies that will always follow up and you'll never see the shadow of parting from them again because there's a new email promotion in your inbox, or that kind of thing, or are you talking both?
More the installation. I just think that when all you need when you want to trial a plugin is a .component file or a .vst file, you don't need their entire product range. You don't need to be signed up to their newsletter if you didn't ask for it. You don't need extra executables in your applications folder that will, authenticate. You don't need that. I mean, there are so many other ways to do plugin authentication these days. You don't need service centers or maintenance applications or things like this.
I just had a thought. As much as I enjoy this subject and I want to keep going, we should call this episode grumpyaudiohour.com.
Yeah,
We
this
don't
is
have to
not.
change the acronym.
I am absolutely 100% in on this. There are so many things about this stuff that pisses me off. And you
Let's
know
move
what?
on.
No, I wasn't trying to stop it. I was enjoying it. I had kind of a shitty day, so this is very therapeutic. I'm just trying not to say, never mind. So, what was I going to say? You know what I've come to find, Alex, oddly, is I like when I can download from a company, even if it's a demo, all of their products. I've got a real
Mm.
fat pipe, and it comes down quickly, and it sets on my hard drive, right? And then if I buy it later, and Waves is like this, if I buy it, I can load up that installer and click a checkbox for like, I don't know, something, and install it. And that's great, and it's sitting there. And occasionally they will update that installer. So I look at the date. Because every time you buy something, they say download this installer, and I want 8 of them on there. So I just look to see what the installation date is of the thing and the creation date. And if it's the same, then I don't download it. I know I already have it in here. Or they'll say it's a brand new thing, like the new reverb they put out, the new plate reverb. So I kind of like that, but I don't like that I can't tell if I need to download it or not. So
Yeah.
You have to hover over the application that you're about to download and see what kind of information is in there and make a comparison. And sometimes, most times, I'll download it and look, and they're the same size. I'll just throw the one away because I store everything in my drive. I have a drive literally called File Server that is just dedicated to everything I've ever downloaded, and I hold on to just in case the company collapses. I mean, I learned that lesson a few times, but Alchemy just did that to a bunch of people too. Got bought by Apple, and then they said, "Oh, this stuff is not going to be available. You better download your stuff." So I just have this bulging hard drive full of stuff I've downloaded. So I kind of do like that you were talking about, downloading all of their products. But I don't want, on the flip side of that, Zero G, who does super serious cuts, when you download something from them, they don't have a one file. You got to download like 19 files. And
oh, wow.
I don't care for that. 19's maybe too many. It depends on what you're downloading. But, it's click and wait and click and wait, click and wait and click and wait. As I can hear that, I do that. My heart starts, it has a counter, and it just starts ticking off heartbeats I'll never get back.
I personally don't mind the whole Service Center type app that is just basically a proprietary download manager for a certain company's stuff. And I don't even mind the fact that they'll use it as an occasion to plug stuff that you could buy but you don't yet own. Like, here are your libraries from North-South, and here's 15 others you might like.
Oh, yeah.
I don't actually mind that. That's fine. As long as I don't have to deal with that more often than once an installation, that's great. Here's what I don't like. I don't like a service center. Well, first of all, I don't like a service center that names itself Service Center. And I'm looking at you, Native Instruments.
Yeah, there's only one, I think, that does that, Mike.
Like as if you were the only company in the world that had an installation program. So that's really fun to find. Let's see, I need to update contact. What's the name of that thing that they had? I'm sure it's named Native Instruments something. That's funny. There's nothing in my hard drive with the prefix Native Instruments. Well, it must be called Contact. So I go through this whole thing. Yeah, please just tack your name onto it so we know. I know, Native Instruments, that in your world, you're the only sample developer ever, and that's great. If that fires your engines and that's kind of a go-get-'em attitude, I support that, but just give us a different name. Number two, don't go halfway. If you're going to have a service center that will let you download all your updates, and this is a great thing, don't just barf a bunch of zip files in our hard drive. Go and ferret out where they're installed and then actually update them for us. Because
so true.
Native Instruments is maddening because I'll end up, I'll click all the buttons for all the downloads, and then I've got 600 zip files in my desktop, and I have to manually tell each one where it's installed. Because as we know, computers can't find files in a hierarchy. Only human beings know how to do that. So
oh my God.
It's a real pain in the butt. For the record, Native Instruments, in case you're listening and crossing us off the list of shows that you will ever consider sponsoring, I love your stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan. Just not of this small little detail.
Well, it gets worse in some ways since we're on the Native Instruments, flailing. I've been part of that for a long time, and I've got a couple of them, like Vocator, I think they called it. It's something else, and it doesn't even have to be the old ones. Softwares that they created. They have this part about their updater that doesn't go to see if you already have the file. So I've told it the path. Here's where I'm going to store this plethora of zip files. Please go look there. Please compare dates and see if I've already got it. I don't want to download that damn thing 4 more times. And then it doesn't install it. Or I do install it because they've got this one situation with older software where if you install the update, they can't tell because of the architecture of the older software. They can't tell that you've installed the update. So every time I go to Service Center, it says, you need this update. How do you know I need the update if you can't tell I have the update? I mean, if you can tell I need it, then you probably could have told yourself that I already have it. You're just trying to pawn off used cars onto me, Native Instruments. Anyway.
That's right. They sell cars.
It does feel that way. How can
We're
you
not talking about
it, but you can't tell I already have it? I don't. It's like one-way programming. I only make things. I can't tell if things are made. Okay, thanks.
The
I think
truth is, we Native Instruments, none of us know where our sample libraries are. Can I just come out and say that? We made a decision 9 months ago when we first got version 1. We put it in some subfolder of a subfolder, and at the time, that made a lot of sense. 4 weeks later, we completely forgot all those decisions. We don't know where anything is. Please don't make our life harder. Don't make us find something like that. You can find it. You know what those files look like. We know you do. Please use the automated facilities that modern operating systems give you to hunt things down. It's been in part of Unix since 1973, and I'm pretty sure we still have it today. Just do that little bit of work so we don't have to be like, okay, it's instrument drive 4, subdirectory software instruments, subdirectory acoustic instruments, except voices, subdirectory native instruments with a Z because I misspelled it. Don't make us do any of that. Just, you have the power to make our lives so much easier and so much happier. And we love you already because you make such great products. Just go that extra mile and change the name of the app, please.
That's true. And we already told you 9 months ago where we were going to store all this shit. I didn't write it down. I have to literally go to Service Center and then go into my settings to find out where I put all my crap. So that was fun. But
look at this monster. What a monster topic I created. Oh
man, you hit a topic that is, I think everybody has that problem, so it's kind of nice to be on the show because everybody's dealing with that. And it's not just Native Instruments, although they got hit kind of hard in the last 10 minutes. There are definitely other well, I'll tell you what, there's one software provider whose stuff is strangely appreciated by the strangest people. It's extremely expensive, rarely goes on sale, looks like shit, and yet I always find out that somebody likes them, and I go, how is that possible? Anyway, I'm not going to mention their name, but we've never talked about them on the show before, I'll just say that. And when we went to NAMM, I went by their booth, and I was like, oh, God, they really are that ugly when you see it up close. It's just hideous.
I actually don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not saying. You're not luring me into this trouble, sir.
Give us a hint. Throw out a hint.
Fast food. Dead air.
Oh, I know. I got it.
Type it in the chat if you got it. So I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Bulkley for sending me these awesome Neversoft glasses. I got shot glasses, and I got martini glasses, and I got giant beer glasses, all stuff that I either didn't get or missed out on or wasn't there long enough. I mean, the beer glasses were like 15 years of service at Neversoft, so I'm pretty stoked about an eye being split with a spear, and I've got my rye whiskey in it, and I think Joel would definitely agree with that. So thanks for sending me these, just in case he's watching the show. Okay, so I see in the chat that nobody wrote the answer.
I know who you're talking about.
I am safe. Hey guys, do you want to move on to the next topic?
We certainly can. Although, is there anyone, since we've been complaining about companies for so long, are there any audio software developers about whom we should praise or thank at this juncture?
Nope. Oh wait, how about Isotope? We love Isotope. Mike is so smooth. Now, Isotope, they don't make you search your hard drive for stuff. They know exactly where everything is. You do an installation, clickety click. Oh my gosh, have you guys tried D-Delay yet?
Yes.
I have, actually. It's quite good.
Yeah, I mean, they're open to honesty. Did you guys have any kind of troubles with it? Did you love it?
No one. Go ahead.
I felt that it felt to me like something that had a very specific application, like it just sort of slap it on there and go for it kind of thing, but sort of a very interesting tool that could be really pulled left and right and surprisingly versatile. So I'm looking forward to not really the kind of thing you just sort of put on there because you need a delay, but something that's really needs sort of proper attention and tweaking and just it's good. It's going to be good for experimentation.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we got to do, right? With music, we don't want to sound stale and predictable. I loved it. I had it on a track immediately. So anyway, go to isotope.com and download D-Delay, which is still free, I think. And also, is Vinyl still free? I think they had a limited time on that one.
think it is, yeah. I think vinyl's
Oh,
free.
man. You know what I love about vinyl is you can tune in the year of which you want to hear the crackles. I love that. I love that. So I've got on my Yamaha S90 ES, I have a patch called 78 RPM piano that's a default patch in there. It's really convincing. They totally EQ'd it so it's right in the middle. It sounds like it's on an old RPM. I mean, on an old Victrola. And then I ran the vinyl plugin on it, and it was so good sounding with that, like old-fashioned piano with just enough of the vinyl. It was a great combo. So anyway, thank you, Isotope, for sponsoring the show. Sorry we're a little grumpy today, but sometimes these shows are grumpy. But we still love you. And I think we got a free giveaway coming up. Is it next week, guys, that we have to do our next giveaway?
I think it might be the week after. I'm not sure.
We'll have to check. So does that mean we did one 2 weeks ago? I'm thinking we did it like 3 weeks ago. We'll have to check. But we do it once a month, and we'll have to decide on the software. Hey, everybody, take this opportunity to tweet us and Isotope, please, at Isotope Inc., what you would want us to give away on the show. Because we kind of decide beforehand, but I started thinking that it'd be nice to collect that information from our viewers and give you something you're looking forward to as a giveaway. And we've had quite a few winners so far. We've done what? What have we done? We've done Nectar.
4 or 3.
Yeah.
Did Nectar, Ozone, and Iris.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, Iris synth. So speaking of Iris, speaking of Isotope, I wanted to do a little show showing people some stuff that I do in Isotope that really cleans up audio. Would you all be interested? You have to say yes. Say yes.
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 Okay. No way. That's so cool. What a coincidence. So I'm going to share a screen, and then you guys will hear it, but I will not hear it. So you'll have to give me thumbs up and thumbs down on whether it's working or not. Actually, for me to hear it, it causes a weird lag, and I don't want to cause that problem. So let me share this screen. Screen sharing. Okay, started. Can you see it?
There we go. Yep.
Awesome.
You may just want to lock it onto your screen so that people don't see us when we talk.
Oh, why are you so smart? All right, I'm locked on. All right. So I'm going to, first of all, select an area and push the arrow keys up. And here's one thing I wanted to do. Can you guys see? R is to select like a rectangle size thing. Can you guys see those little spots in there?
I can see a rectangular selection area that's animated.
And you can see the stuff inside it highlighted?
Yeah, it's kind of filtered a different color.
Ah, gotcha. Well, so this is a sound from the outside, and this is a sound at night. What do you think that rhythmic consistency is? Any guesses? Chat room, type in if you've got a guess.
Are you asking just on the basis of the visual?
Yeah. Well, I mean, thinking about the hint I gave you, it's outside and at night.
Well, it's
with the answer.
It's regular. Cricket. Oh, it's crickets. Ah, look how regular that's really cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I didn't know crickets. They got good rhythm.
Yeah. Tell me if you can hear this. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Did you hear it okay?
No, not hearing that.
You didn't hear the crickets?
It was very faint, very faint.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to fix that. Let's see if this works. Without me blowing up. All right. Let's see if you can hear it again. Anything? Is it better? Did you hear it better?
It's super quiet.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's crickets. This is what I was afraid of. Okay, so let me show you a couple things, tips and tricks for RX. You see this arrow that's in a box down here? That will only play what you've selected, which is why I think you're not hearing it. If I hit the other play, it'll play everything. So I'm going to hit that one, and hopefully you'll hear the crickets.
There we go.
You just have to listen for them behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So Isotope, double click up here and you can zoom out to the whole file. What you're seeing here in this view, which I'm sure you've all talked about, but I am going to go to the absolute basics just in case people don't know. Over here is your wave view. This is your spectrograph. I like to put my wave view just a little bit stronger than my spectrograph. The brighter the color, the stronger the sound. This is a stereo file. That's why it's split in two. The lower the frequency down here is low, up here is high. As you can see right here, there's some really strong low-end content. One of the things I wanted to do was play that for you, and you won't hear it. The reason is because most of it is below 20 hertz, which is where we hear anyway. The bottom of what we typically hear. Some people would hear it, some people wouldn't. Over here on this side is your frequency bands where you can hear. And over here is just an example of what the dB level is based on the color of the orange. So you can see how bright this is. This is nearing 10, somewhere between 15 and 10 dB is why that's so bright. But there were some really cool things about looking at spectrograph that I think is fantastic. And one of the things I wanted to show you was the crickets, but another one is, let me go find it. You can identify things just by looking at the spectrograph view. And I've got to find this one particular classic sound that you hear everywhere. I'm looking for it. You guys still got me? It's so quiet, I don't know if I've fallen off air.
No, you're there. We hear you loud and clear.
So this isn't really giving me the answer. I thought it was about right here. Maybe I'm zoomed in too close. Oh, no, it's over here. I can see it now. All right, what do you think that is right there? Can you see that like diagonal line of energy that comes through here? And then it's using up a lot of space in the 3K to 2K range. And again, it's an outside sound. This one isn't at night, though.
I'm guessing. I was going to say the same thing.
Say what?
A bird call.
Yeah, you're absolutely on. Look at how consistent this bird call is. See the A with a long line through it, and here it is again over here. Isn't that amazing that birds are so precise that you can see a consistency? This one is a sample. Are you ready? This is crazy. I'm going to play the whole thing so you can hear it. Here we go. I'm going to back up a little bit, actually, so you can hear it. Here it comes.
Wow.
Did you hear it?
Is that an eagle?
Yeah, it's that classic falcon sample that everybody uses everywhere. Isn't that so cool to see that?
Mm. What are those? Just off to the right side, there are some like diagonal scratches. What are they?
Yeah. Yeah. Got to give a guess. Scooting in. You want to just hear it? Here, I'll just play it. I won't make you guess. Let me back up a little bit. You'll hear that one bird call.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's what they look like. That's funny, isn't it?
But here is, so this is I wanted to kind of split this into a couple things. I wanted to show you how to do things, but at first I wanted to show you what things look like. And as you can see right here, this is what's great about the spectral view. You can actually see the notes like a MIDI piano lays them out.
Mm.
Bum 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 bum, something like that. You see it going up and down?
Yeah.
All right, here it is. What do you think? That's pretty cool, right?
That's
that
pretty.
Yeah.
So take a song, throw it into a spectral analyzer if you can't figure out what the person's playing. What John Williams do? Throw it in there. Take a look at it. So you've seen crickets, birds, actual recorded items. Let's go listen to that low-end stuff and see if it will play. I don't know if the quality is good enough given here. But this is basically just some ambient thing with this slow, repetitive, rhythmic kind of jumping. Turn up your speakers, people. I won't kill you. I won't trick you into playing the whole thing. I'm going to hit that square with the square in it. And so if you want to turn up your speaks, go for it. And I'll hit play and see if you can hear this. So you could probably hear a lot of that, right? That's up near the 100. All right. So watch this now. I'm going to take this down, and we're going to get into that same range, but closing in on 20. This is 50 right here. Whoops. I messed that up. There we go. See what you can hear. Same thing. Sound good? Can you still hear it?
No, I'm just getting rumble.
Right? Because that's where 20 hertz is. It's where you feel it, you know?
Right.
20 hertz and below. So now I'm going to cut it down. This is what happens is the energy will make things louder and kind of bleed them over into frequencies that we can hear. But now, as you can see by my selection, I'm below 50. So we're closing in on 30 to 20. I'm going to hit play again. And there's going to reach a point where we won't hear that anymore, but you'll see that by the color, that is actually rather loud. Actually, let me close this in a little bit. Get this a little closer if I can get to the edge. I can't get to the edge. I'll just do it right here. Because these are the real loud notes. Let's pull that down a little bit. All right, we're below 50. Here we go. Anyway, could you hear it?
What a strange. It's like listening to noise cancelling headphones.
Is it?
I remember a passage from my college acoustics text that said, listening to infrasonics at high amplitudes can cause internal organs to bleed.
You're welcome. That's what we do here. That's the name of this show. I think you've come up with a show name for this one. Internal organs will bleed.
Happy
Daniel
to do my part.
Day-Lewis edition. So that is some of the cool stuff that you can see if you look at the spectral view. And of course, when you load things into the Iris synthesizer, you get the same view, which is really fun to select things like the bird and then mess with them. So I'm going to come over here. One of the things that I do a lot of, T will give you this selector up and down. F will give you the frequency selector, T for time, F for frequency. R will give you just select what you want. And then lasso, which must be L, I'm guessing, yeah, will let you select like a region that you want to do something with. One of the things I like to do is I go in like this real close on an empty place. Oh, that's not a good one because as you can see, it was edited. It was cut. I'll go in real close on an empty place. This is maybe a breath. You guys will have to tell me because, again, I can't hear this. Tell me if this is a breath. Is that a breath?
Could be.
Can't really hear it properly.
No, wow, dang it, this is not going as well. Well, we'll push ahead and see if we can do something with it. What you're seeing here is room tone. This is typically a breath. Obviously, you can see by the blue this person's speaking. You can also see that their inflection went from a bassy inflection up to a high inflection, oddly. So this could be the person talking here to about right there. But this could be something completely different, like them clapping their hands. It could be a lip smack or something. It's a big lip smack. But anyway, so if you go here and you select room tone, what I'll do often is I'll go to denoise, select the room tone, go into spectral, hit learn, and that is a print of what that looks like. Now, if I got to exit out of that so that I can get to the whole file. And now I hit process. All of that room tone at that level gets pulled out of this audio and really cleans it up so it's real precise to listen to the person. You'll see it go across really quickly here. And now you do this with singers to get rid of stuff, microphones that have a hiss to them that maybe the ohms are set badly. Matching microphones to their preamp is pretty important as far as ohms are concerned because if you've got those mismatched, you can get some hiss. I was just reading today that if you take a TLM 103 or TLM 49, which is one of the Neumanns I have, and you don't match the ohms, it'll have a high ringing sound. And so this is the kind of thing that you would do to get rid of that. And now we pass over that area. Sorry.
To listen closely, come more into focus. So
And it probably sounds cleaner.
Mm.
I don't know if you guys are hearing it because we're not translating. But anyway, that's one of the things that you can do. Another thing that I like to do is to, here's a great example. Look at this. I'll go frequency, and I'll pop this selection up here. Now I'm going to bring up Alt-D and R. Oh, wait. You're not seeing those on the screen, are you? Because of my screen share is just... Let me go over and see if you see those. You don't. So I'm going to stop this screen share, and I'm going to go to a different one so you can see what I'm seeing. Hold on here. Sorry, guys. Not a perfect example, but we're getting there. Minimize, minimize, close, minimize. Okay, I'm going to take it up to the upper screen so there's not a bunch of junk on the floor, on the desktop. All right, let me see if I can share this now. Share. Oh, man. Oh, it doesn't seem to want to show. Is this showing it? Let's see. If I do this, do you see stuff up there? Oh, you do. Okay, cool. Okay, so you see that lump that's in the view there?
Mm.
Typically, Bluetooth will make a noise at 28,000 K. This is below that. So this is typically a microphone that's got some sort of less than expensive manufacturing, and they've caused some sort of bump there. That happens a lot, or an interface that is causing a little bit of a bump. Now, this is 19K. We, on average, hear 20K to 20,000. Or sorry, 20K to 20 hertz. And so this is really up in that range where we're not going to notice it. But if it's inside 20K, I'll get rid of it. And one of the things I do is I go to, let me put it down. I go to frequency view, and I select that line. You can see it right there. There's the line. See that line of energy up there?
Oh, yeah.
I will select it like this. Get as close as I can. Anything up is okay because we can't hear that anyway. And I'll just hit the delete key. And it'll be gone.
Hmm.
And there it is now. So we deleted it at 18.5K and down. That's why that thing is happening right there.
So that analysis that you're looking... Sorry, that analysis that you're looking at there, that updates itself. Is that like an average of the... Oh, that's just what you've selected, is it?
Yeah, it's just what you've selected.
Oh, I see. Wow, that's cool.
I can get really precise with that line. There it is. And just delete that and leave the stuff above it. But the stuff above it, again, is in the 20K range that we're not going to hear or miss. 10K is basically, when you're dealing with EQs, 10K is kind of like the spot where you add the air in, where you add just a little bit of opening up. Anything above 10K starts to become hard to decipher unless the volumes are really high, and then it just ends up being hiss mostly.
Or you're using a MAG EQ.
Yeah, well, the airband I think is at 10K or 15. It's at 15, isn't it? The airband. 10
yeah,
to
I think it's 15, but it's a big shelf, so it extends up there. You just don't, it's just all very psychoacoustic.
And we're at 19.2 right now, so I would definitely, again, like I was saying, get as close to the line as possible, but then I just give it a big old whack of the delete key, and it is gone. And now you don't have any of that kind of weirdness up there. What's important about getting rid of that is when Isotope does averaging, if you were to make a change that's on the right and the left side of something, like if I were to do put it back, if I were to do this, let's say I wanted to bring that transient down. Let's say it's too loud at 30K or 30 dB, and I wanted to bring it down. I will go into the gain tool here, and let's show this to you really quickly. I'll go into the gain tool. I'm going to bring it up onto the screen. And I usually start in increments of 2, and I will process and bring that peak down. I'll even zoom in so you guys can see what happens here. Now, I want to only bring down that peak right there. But watch what happens on left and right of that. There's a little bit of stuff that changes right on the edge of my selection. Because mathematically, it's making an average. So if you were to do something like leave this line in here, where's the line? Let me get to it. Seems to be, why is it kind of gone? I guess I was zoomed in elsewhere, but here's the line over here. If you leave the line in and you do something like EQ matching, which is based on averages, it'll take it into consideration. EQ matching is, see, yeah, you can see it right there. See that little bump right there? And what it's going to do, EQ matching, is it's going to affect this slope because of that bump. So I like to get rid of the bump before I do the slope. So the slope is more true. Oh, you're not looking at, sorry, I'm off the screen. See that little bump right there in EQ matching? Myself. This slope has been affected by that bump. And so I will get rid of that little line of broken down audio equipment so that that slope is truer to what's going on. Let me get to T so I can get to here. Like, and I want to match the EQ, let's say, for this section. And then I'll learn it. Well, there's still a little bit there. But anyway, it came down. And it looks like only this peak came down. But that trust me, that little slope made a change as well. It's just at such a finite granularity that you can't really see the change too much. But it's enough that I'll hear hiss and stuff up there. And so I get rid of that. What else is musical that's important about RX? You guys got any questions about RX that I can answer?
You've demonstrated the deletion of certain frequency bands over time, and I assume if you didn't want to use as heavy a hand in making those changes, you could just attenuate those bands rather than just obliterate them outright.
Yeah. So corrective EQ, I actually have a preset. Let's see if it's in this one. Called cut frequencies at 28. It doesn't. Go to default, go up here to your low pass filter, select it, and now you can make a attenuation depending upon what you want. So we knew this thing was at what, 19K, so I'll go 18.5. And then I can attenuate it like a brick wall. Oh, it jumped on me. Hold on. 18.5, 1, or 0, 0. There we go. So you can go straight off the edge like a brick wall, or you can do 40. This is a great, oh my God, Mike, you brought something up that's so important. A lot of people don't understand with EQs what they mean by dB per octave. And here's a great visual of what dB per octave means. 12 dB per octave. 24 is a little sharper of a drop, 48 is a little sharper of a drop, and then this is probably like 60 or something. Well, what's 48 plus 12? So 50. Wait a minute, that'd be 60, wouldn't it? I'm pretty smart. I'm a smart feller.
I assume it's supposed to be infinite at that point, though, right?
Yeah, it just drops off to 0. So you have totally gotten rid of all the frequencies beyond that. So what this means is, let's go to something a little bit easier. Let's do this here. Hold on. We want to take it the other way. Okay. Here we go. Oh, well, the Q is also a way of dealing with that. Let's try this here. Q is the same thing as dB per octave. It's basically how sharp the edge is going to be. But Q describes it in a different way, whereas a filter describes it by dB per octave. A Q describes it differently, like in this case, increments of, what's the word I'm looking for, integers rather than dB per octave. So I'm not sure what 6 on this means as opposed to when I'm dealing with dB per octave. Maybe it's 60, I don't know, because it looks like a brick wall. But this is very important to know. So if you're dealing with like a parametric EQ and you've got to drop something and you want to know, like you're looking at the stats of an EQ, you can say, what are my selections for dB per octave? Because typically I hang out in the 24 range, but some EQs I've looked at only have a 12, and I'm like, well, that's not enough, because that means that let me go over here. Let's choose something like this and pull it down a little bit. So this means that the frequencies starting at 1K up to 4K are still being heard, and they're sloped down. It's fading out, if you will. Fading is a proper term. Fading out is not a proper term. It's lessening the volume per octave of the frequencies past a frequency in this example. But if you want it to be really sharp, you would increase this number, which means that there are no frequencies past, let's get down here so it looks realistic, no frequencies past 2K that will ever be heard because we did a really sharp shelf. But if you start to lessen it and you come up this way, then you end up going the wrong direction, Kyle, and then you end up with a little bit of a slope. So that's a very important thing for EQ people to know about EQ. And this isn't a great example with this one because as you can see, I'm trying to drop at 2K, and as I come off of this, it spreads out on either side of this guy. I have to change right here my Q as well so that it's a sharper drop. And never mind, that's a bad example. Let's go back to the low pass filter so I can give a better example. Hold on. Get right now. Don't tell anybody. Let's move this back to, it's not on, there we go. Let's move this back to 10K. Now you can really see it. Now when I make changes here to dB per octave, it doesn't have anything to do with prior frequencies. Well, I guess it does touch a little bit, but I don't really hear that difference as opposed to what I was showing you with a mid frequency of the 4. Okay, I'm not going to belabor the point. You guys see the point though, right? That's what dB per octaves does.
This looks very similar to the EQ module in another isotope product we know well, which is ozone, right? It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if you guys can answer this question, the difference between analog and digital just seems to be a sharper slope.
No, it's to do with how it reacts when you go up to the top end of the frequency. A digital like a digital low pass will extend beyond 22 kilohertz and just remain like that. But if you try it with analog, you'll see that it bends.
Yeah.
So as you move that filter up towards the top, you'll notice that it bends down. Well, it should. Whereas digital will just extend right off the edge without noticing the fact that you're coming up to them. That's the theory, at least.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, I can't tell it, but thank you for clarifying that. I'll have to look into that. To my ear, analog sounds good, but I don't know if I'm just old and my ear says analog everything. It could be the case. Anything analog, I just go, digital lawn, get off my digital lawn. So that's something about the corrective EQ. One thing I do, I go to.
I'm gonna have to jump out, guys. So I'm gonna see you. I'll see you next week.
Oh, it's time. Okay. Well, let me. Yeah, see you, buddy. Okay, let me wrap this up. So I've shown you some corrective EQ. I've shown you how to get rid of room noise. One of the cool things also, this is probably huge, is go into your denoiser, find some room noise. Let's see, I got rid of it, so I'm Apple Z to get back in. Initial state, here it is. Okay, room noise right here. And then I will go to, say you've got a break in like the singer. So they're singing and you're trying to tie two things together and you want to create some ambience. You can do this ambience match where you learn that room noise and then you can go to a whole other track or a place where there isn't one. Here's a great example because there was just a place right up here where they had cut out the ambience. Here you go. Select the area. You can even go a little wide if you want just to make sure you got it all. And then you can paste that process. And now the room noise has been added here into that empty space, which really ties things together so you don't hear that
abrupt drop.
That abrupt drop, yeah. So that's another one. Or say you need a room noise file. Once you've captured the room noise, you can create like a new document. Yeah, sounds good enough. And you can say process. And now you've got a whole room noise for like if you're doing sound to picture and you want to, well, wait, sorry. A. Should be going in there. Why not go? Well, it's not going. It's making me a liar, and I'm trying to hurry up. There's a way to do it. Hold on. Let me go back here, select some room noise. I want to make sure I show this correctly. It doesn't make sense to stop if I'm not going to do it right. It's denoise. I know what I'm doing wrong. Hold on. Here it comes. Okay, denoise. Learn. Go to the new file, right? And then you select this output noise only and you hit process. And it made me a liar again. Okay, go back to the other. I got a better idea. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to ham fist it. Now I'm going to process you. Output noise only. Oh, yeah. Take that, RX. If you're going to make me look dumb on the interwebs, I'll show you. All right, so there's the noise only. That's a noise file. And then you can save it by exporting however you want. Not a screenshot, but you could export it here as some sort of room noise file, and then you can just, when you're done, hit Control-Z and your other file comes back. There you go.
Now, is the process similar to convolution in the sense that, let's say you've captured 10 seconds of room noise, and you apply that to a 20-second stretch. Is it going to just paste that 10 seconds twice, or is it going to synthesize new room noise based on the existing sample?
Yeah, it's going to paste it. So you want to, typically you don't need that much room noise. So I try to grab a bigger swath to copy than I need to paste, because it will loop. You can see the loops happening right here. There's one. Here comes another one. At least that looks like looping to me. Well, it does look kind of different, doesn't it? I don't know. Test it and try it out. Because that looks way different than this looks down here. I don't know why it looks different. Good question, Mike. We'll have to test it and find out. But typically, even though I can still answer the question, it might be based on ignorance, I try to copy more room noise than I need to paste. What do you think? On RX?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You like RX? Was that fun?
Oh yeah, no, I love the spectrograph view. Is that was the name of that?
Yeah.
In addition to looking like I'm staring at a cornfield with dramatic IR goggles at night, it's a really interesting way to think about sound over time. And the device of using brightness to reflect intensity of a frequency is brilliant, because you can basically get a sense of the changes in audio across time, even though you're just looking at a static shot.
Yeah.
So in contrast, if you're looking at your traditional, frequency spectrum, you're just watching these mountains rise and fall in real time, and you can't really retain that information in the same way, because we don't have that sophisticated visual memory. Yeah. Whereas the spectrograph view lets you take it all in at once, and I think that seems brilliant.
I do too. I love it, man. And I think there's a real market there. Like if you wanted to get into, cleaning up sample libraries. I mean, I don't know if that's legal. Is that legal? Like, if I bought a sample library and it wasn't as clean as I wanted it, I could take it into RX, right? Clean it up, do some stuff with it, and then.
As long as you don't violate the terms of the license, so you can't then go say, I'm reselling, or distributing it. But gotcha. If you have the technical ability to access that audio, which may not be the case for all sample libraries these days, there's no reason you can't try to process it.
That makes sense to me, because I've definitely had some samples that I wanted to change because I could hear things in the background and it would repeat. Or if it's a sample that, well, no, I guess that's just cleanup is the only time I really use it. I mean, RX is definitely, they put RX into Iris, which makes it a creative synthesizer, but RX itself, I really mostly use for cleanup and restoring things, or what is that called? Forensics, audio forensics. But isn't that cool that you can see the notes being played? That is so useful.
That does look really neat, and it really does let you understand what's going on at a glance in a way that you can't as easily do with a traditional waveform view.
Indeed. All right. Well, thanks for letting me show that. I've been meaning to show that, but I'm disappointed that it didn't sound as good. But thanks, everybody. I hope it was helpful. If you got any RX questions, let me know at kyle@moontechstudios.com. If you have anything about life, my email address is mike@mikemusic.com.
Thanks for that. If you're looking to hire Kyle to do music, also use his Mike address.
That is true. That is so true. I didn't even think about that. Well, all 12 people that watch the show aren't going to be emailing you with any hustle and bustle. So, bye.
See you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being on the show. Bye.